This is the time of year kids get involved in sports, and if you have athletes in your household, they probably have pads to protect their bodies and their bones, but what are they doing to protect their eyes? Well, Dr. Kimberly Friedman is here with some suggestions, and apparently we're not doing enough to protect our eyes. Is that right?
Absolutely. There's 2.5 million eye injuries each year, and suspected to be sports and recreation related.
And what I'm so surprised at is the sports that you told me are the #1 sports for causing eye injury. Maybe not baseball, that's such a surprise. Now that's 13 and under, you were saying.
Right, the younger kids, the #1 cause is baseball, but overall, a huge majority of eye injuries that we see, basketball.
Right here.
And I wouldn't have thought basketball either.
No way.
The suspected reason is that during basketball, when you're jostling to get possession of the ball or rebounding, what happens is those elbows go flying, and an elbow can go into the eye. I even read that David Duchovny had permanent vision damage. The actor David Duchovny, from a pickup basketball game, an elbow went in the eye, and he lost some permanent loss of vision in his right eye from that.
So there you go. Even just an afternoon game of pickup, you have to think about your eyes. Let's talk, before we get into the other sports, let's talk about what happens. In his case, you know, it's probably an injury you see all the time.
Right. The injuries can really range the gamut from mild corneal abrasions, inflammation, redness, all the way up to the more serious problems. And the serious problems can be uveitis, which is an inflammation of the entire eye, retinal hemorrhages or detachments. But one of the most serious that we can see is actually a fracture in the bones right under the eye. We call that a blowout fracture. And when that occurs, the eye can actually sort of sink down into the space that the fracture has created, and the muscles become entrapped, and then the eye can't move properly. The person will generally see double, and will often need surgery afterward to repair that. That's a real serious one.
And so what can we do to prevent it? We need to wear goggles, obviously.
Right. Prevention is the key. The National Eye Institute says that 90% of these injuries are preventable, yet 90% of adults and 95% of children don't wear the protection.
And this apparently, women's lacrosse is the only sport you're saying that, that you have to wear eye protection.
Right. U.S. women's lacrosse mandates it, but it's the only sport that mandates. There is some legislation pending to mandate it in other areas, but currently U.S. women's lacrosse, the only sport that mandates.
All right. So other sports that maybe people take for granted that we should be careful? Tennis.
Right. Tennis. Any racket sport, basketball, of course, baseball, pretty much all the sports you can think of. Basically, the take-home is that dress glasses like this are not appropriate to wear during sports. They're not recommended. The lenses can shatter. The frames can shatter. You really need to go with the sports goggles.
All right. Well, and these can be found everywhere, so we have no excuses, right?
Right. Prescription or non-prescription.